Good morning, everyone. I welcome you to another episode of the New Member Orientation series, and today we are discussing on how can a new member choose a pathways path. If you have gone through my previous videos, how to I have discussed about the introduction for pathways. So in that, I have briefly explained about the history of pathways, that is, when the pathways was introduced. So, for the benefit of the members who are starting from here, from this particular episode, so pathways was actually introduced in the year 2017. So, when it was introduced, it had 11 paths originally. So, these 11 paths were designed in such a way that a member, whoever is completing these 11 paths, they can actually achieve a goal that is suited to their professional needs. Okay, suppose it could be public speaking, or it could be interpersonal skills. So like those goals can be achieved by using these 11 parts. Now in the year 2024, what happened was, based on the survey which was conducted by Toastmasters International for the members, they have decided that they will drop down the number of parts. That is, from 11 it became 6. And what happened to those 5 parts? The remaining 5 parts, they are there. They are not completely discarded, but for the existing members, yes, they can continue with the remaining 5 parts. Whereas the new members, they cannot register for those parts. Instead, what they have to do is they have to choose from the 6 active parts. For your information, we call the 5 parts as legacy parts, whereas for these 6 active parts, we call them as active parts only. So let us see what are those active parts. So in Toastmasters International, in pathways, we have 6 parts. So first part is the dynamic leadership. The second one is the engaging humor. The third one is the motivational strategies. The fourth one is persuasive influence. The fifth one is presentation mastery. And the sixth one is visionary communication. So let us see what are the main focus of each path. So if you go through the dynamic leadership, we have public speaking. Okay, when you are taking the path of dynamic leadership, the following skills are obtained or developed. So the first one is public speaking. The second one is interpersonal communication. The third one is management skills. The fourth one is strategic leadership. Then conflict resolution. Okay. Similarly, when you go to engaging humor, you are expected to have public speaking and speech writing skills. Coming to motivational strategies, again, you will be having public speaking. Then you can develop your interpersonal communication skills. Then you have the management and also the motivational leadership skills. When it comes to persuasive influence, you can gain public speaking, management, interpersonal communication, and how do you deal with complex situations? Like, how can you lead the members, your team members, in order to navigate? How can you navigate them through a complex situation? Then we have presentation mastery, which is the recommended path for any person who is beginning their public speaking journey. And then we have the visionary communication, where you can improve your public speaking, management, interpersonal communication skills, innovative communication skills, and leadership. So these are the main focus areas of each path. Okay, so as we discussed, there are 6 paths, and each path has certain areas that the members need to focus on. Okay, now, how, as a new member, can we choose a path? Now, these are the steps which I have listed down. In another video, not in this series, maybe in another series, I will be explaining how I'll be showing a live demo, like how can we choose a path. So, here, the first step that you need to do is you need to log into the Basecamp. So, how do you access Basecamp? I have discussed in my previous videos. You need to go to www.toastmasters.org. Okay, you type that address in the URL, and then it will take you to Toastmasters International website, and you have to log into your account, and once you log in, it will take to your home page, and in that you will see the Basecamp. You click on the Basecamp. Now, first thing is that is about Basecamp. Now, how to choose the path? So in the educational resources page, if you go down to the bottom, there's a section called choose your path. So in that, if you click on that, there are 3 ways for a new member to choose a path. The first way is that in case the member is aware of his or her goal, like what they want to aspire to become. Okay, if they have that idea, then they can go ahead and directly choose that path. There's no uh, it's direct, it's a simple procedure, okay, for them. The second category is there's a questionnaire. Okay, so it's like a quiz for the pathways, like quiz in the sense not to test your knowledge but to collect your opinion. Okay, but to collect your uh, skill set, but to understand you, to analyze your skill set, what you have currently. Okay, so it has a set of questions, maybe around 20 to 30 questions. You need to answer those questions, and then based on that question, the system which is the pathways, it will generate three recommended paths. It will generate three recommended paths based on the answers you have given, and then you can choose one amongst them. That is the questionnaire path. Okay, now, in case if you don't have time for both of this, if you don't know how to do, if you are like unaware of which path to choose from both these options, then what I would suggest is, or what Toastmasters International would suggest is, to go for the presentation mastery. In case if you don't have any experience for public speaking. Okay, so whenever a new member comes, what I would do to them is I would ask them a simple question, whether you have any experience in public speaking. If they have any experience, if they don't have any experience in public speaking, then I would recommend them to take up the presentation mastery. It will be easier for them to begin with the basics. So this is how you need to choose a path. Then once you have chosen the path, then you can start off with the level 1. So this is the step-by-step process for choosing a path. So the assessment, which I said, it helps you find the perfect fit. Okay, so there is no guesswork. Since it gives you three options, you might be a little confused on what to improve. However, if you before what I would recommend is before you start the questionnaire, the website has the description of each path, like what all are the skills that you are going to gain, what are the skills that you are going to gain when you are performing the path, when you are taking up that particular path. So this is about the pathways assessment. So let us see what is your goal. Okay, I have listed down the goals of a person and which path can that person choose. So in case if your goal is to become a leader, a better leader or a manager, then the suitable option is for you to do the dynamic leadership path. In case if your goal is to add humor and entertainment to speeches. Now, when I say adding humor and entertainment to speeches, the reason why we are adding humor and entertainment is to enliven the audience. Like we need to make the audience, we need to keep the energy high, right? So it's always good to add some jokes so that the people can get motivated and they will be energized to listen to your speech. So engaging humor is a part where you will learn how to use humor in a very constructive manner. Okay, that is what engaging humor is all about. If you want to inspire or motivate others, then we have a path for motivational strategies. And also if you want to influence or persuade audiences, which is a very vital skill for people who are involved in the sales background. That is in case if you want to persuade a customer to buy a certain product, then that skill is applicable. So if you want to develop such skills, you can actually choose the persuasive influence pathway. If you want to mainly focus on your speaking skills, on your presentation skills, then we have the presentation mastery. And if you want to drive innovation and big picture change, that is, you want to work towards the vision of your company or your organization, then you have the visionary communication. So these are the 6 parts, and I have explained to you which goal is it suitable for. So this is the slide all about that. So if you are still not sure about the path, the assessment will guide you. Okay, so to summarize, first step is to log into the Basecamp. The second step is to take the pathways assessment. So if you take the pathways assessment, there are 3 paths. So the first one is to choose the path. The first one is, in case if you know your goal, then you can choose the path directly. The second path is to take the assessment, and it will give you 3 options, and then from there you can actually take one particular path. Otherwise, the most recommended path is the presentation mastery. Then you review the recommended paths and you pick the one that matches your goal, and then you start the level 1. beginning with the icebreaker. Okay. Now, if required, you can actually start the icebreaker before choosing a path, because all the paths, the first speech is icebreaker speech. So, in order not to waste time, what you can do is you can register for the icebreaker itself as this thing. But to maintain that procedure, what you can do is you can first go for the go to you can first choose a path and then begin your icebreaker speech. So this is all about choosing your pathways. So it's better to take the assessment, choose your path, and start your journey. So this is all about choosing your pathway. And with this, I conclude my episode. I hope this video is clear about how to choose a pathway. In case if you have any concerns, queries, or clarification regarding this particular topic, please do post them in the comment section, and I will be happy obliged to respond to them. Thank you once again, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.